跌宕起伏的一场比赛，独行侠3节领先20分，但湖人在末节差点完成了惊天大逆转。不过湖人名宿 Worthy 有话说，湖人末节追分确实很不错，但他们错失了一个重点，致使最终输掉了比赛。那么这个重点是什么呢？就让我们来听听他们的赛后点评吧。
Tough one for the Lakers, who, despite being 7-1 at home, they remain winless. On the second night of back-to-backs, now 0-3 on the season. On the flip side, Dallas came in much healthier and rested in this one. They haven't played since Sunday. All that being said, look, there was a resiliency and a fight from the Lakers. You look at that fourth quarter in particular. Being down 20, they put together a 25-6 run, 30-13. They hold Dallas to just 13 points in that final frame. But when it mattered most down the stretch, the execution, the decision-making, the shot-making, Dallas, you tip your cap.
Yeah, I mean, to me, this is probably one of the most disappointing losses of the year. Yeah, it was a back-to-back game. You did everything you were supposed to do last night. You got guys rest in the fourth quarter. And then you come out and you kind of stick up the gym a little bit in the first quarter. You don't play the way you should play. And that allowed Dallas a little bit of confidence. You come in the first quarter, you put your handle on the game. They don't have that, they don't have that fight in them. Okay, so you're down the whole game and you come back in the fourth quarter. I mean, it was a great fourth quarter. I mean, to come back and then just really poor execution down the stretch. AD, again, a guy who shoots a high percentage in the post, didn't see the ball the last 3 possessions. Turnover, and a great comeback, but just very disappointing loss. Just a lot to talk about in the stats. I'm sure we'll go over, but it's a disappointing loss to start out the way they did and then to come back and then not finish it at home against a defensive team that, Dallas is not a good defensive team at all. So they should have been able to close this one out.
For me, it comes down to not recognizing what's working. Mm-hmm. You have AD who was kind of dominating the first half, and then AD gets no touches or no plays in the second half. And that's the most disappointing, especially when Lively got hurt and they don't play the guy, what's his name? Powell anymore.
Backup, yeah.
You have no big that can guard AD, and you don't recognize the mismatch. And for me, that's the most disappointing thing. Please don't go in this locker room and say you was a moral victory or whatever. You came back. No, because you don't recognize the weakness. We talked about it before the game started about how bad the Dallas Mavericks are defense in the paint. And they exploit that. We always talk about the analyticals and the numbers, and you play this here and there. That's one of the things you have to look at. You have to play the numbers, right?
Yep.
The numbers are AD can exploit that defense in the paint. And we didn't get a chance to see that. And don't get me wrong, and then down the stretch, some bad turnovers. I thought Al-Sari was the one who should have had the ball in his hand down the stretch because he was the hot guy. And you got to recognize these things, and there's so many things you can you can nitpick at, but this was just a game that was like you sit back and it just makes you go,